we've actually got some breaking news that's just crossed the Bloomberg terminal. President Trump is saying that he was due to meet China's President Xi in 2 weeks' time. He's saying now that he sees no reason to do so. The team are going to put some of the headlines up on the screen, but Caro, a significant piece of news because part of what we wanted to discuss today was China. The president saying that he's calculating increased tariffs on Chinese products.
This is a dialing up of geopolitical tensions.
And Brian, bear with us. We are now seeing this quite sharp market reaction. Clearly, the S&P 500 has changed direction here because I think, well, you know, jump in, Caro. I think part of the point is that we were headed in a different direction.
And this brings so many questions around what the TikTok relationship had been, and much of that had been sort of almost this linchpin in relationships between President Xi and indeed President Trump. But then been this ongoing narrative about how we could rectify and rehabilitate the relationship. There have been calls from China perhaps wanting yet further relief from some of the higher tariffs that they've been seeing.
Sorry, I've just pulled up the Truth Social post, and that's where the president's communicated, and he's basically saying that China is becoming very hostile. Let's get back to the conversation.
Well,
Caro.
your take, Brian, because in many ways, Anduril and defense tech as a whole is about the story of national security, and it is about US versus China. Is that where you see the key risks?
That is one of the key conflicts. But if you look worldwide, I mean, you've got land wars in Europe. You've got, you know, the Red Sea still basically denied. Iran doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. China, beyond just the tensions with the US, has been constantly aggravating with the Philippines, you know, constantly fighting over different islands and things like that. So you're in this period of just massive geopolitical instability, and China is obviously the focus. But I mean, they've had a very strategic view to this, right? Like they've they've put significant export controls on magnets for high-end semiconductors.
That? Rare earths, for example. We understand the breaking news of today as well, as China's making it harder and harder for rare earths to be exported, not just to the US, but to Europe.
Yeah, and I think this is part of a long-term strategic plan they have had, right? They have used industrial policy beyond just military power to construct a world where they have a lot of leverage over the US and their allies. They drive dependence on these things. And it's a very sophisticated strategy that they're playing.
Yes.
I think this is something that Trump recognizes. I think he is a very good negotiator. If he's saying these things, he understands what that means and how he is using that to position for maximum advantage. And so I think it's going to be a long-run conflict with China, and that's something we've just got to be prepared for.
Brian, thank you for rolling with this. The news is breaking as we go to air. The market's reacting. One of the things that we've just shown on the screen is the semiconductor index.
Yeah.
One reason why it's critically important to talk to you, Anduril, is your efforts to re-onshore the manufacturing base in this country, in Ohio. But in research for being here today, Caroline and I looked a lot at the supply chain for your industry, everything from wire harness through to GPUs that go on board a lot of the weapons behind us. Could you just expand on that a little bit? You know, why Arsenal One is so critical in that sense, in that context?
Absolutely. So, you know, when you look at defense is one of those areas where national security is paramount. Pulling these technologies onto U.S. and allied manufacturing is absolutely key. And the strategy we've taken with this is there's a lot of industrial capacity in the U.S. There's the ability to take advantage of largely commercial industry that can manufacture these things. But when you start stepping back, there's things that defense alone can't solve, right? These are things like, you know, the rare earth magnets, germanium supply. These are things that China has strategically tried to stranglehold. And this will require, beyond just stating as a policy that you have to source it from America, the sources are very, very limited. This is areas where I've been really encouraged by what the Trump administration has done around trying to reignite this idea of how do you do smart industrial policy? What is it going to look like in the US? It's going to look different. It's going to be a combination of tariffs. It's going to be a combination of things they did with like MP materials, guaranteed offtake. There's just this very different strategy that needs to be taken to really solve this on a country level scale. And for us, we can be early adopters, right? Like we can take advantage of all those things. And we're building out a massive manufacturing complex in Ohio to be able to take advantage of all of those suppliers in the US and build a lot of things here onshore.
Okay, so the breaking news is that the president has taken to Truth Social and he is saying that it looks like he now won't meet with China's Xi and things are changing. We will discuss that for the next hour.
Yep. While
we have you, Anduril has been in the headlines partly because of the insatiable appetite of all kinds of investors to be involved. You did a secondary or a tender for your employees. Would you talk about the focus you have right now on talent and that mechanism to keep people, basically.
No, absolutely. So the defense world has shifted a lot, right? Like a lot of the people in traditional defense industry are amazing at things like, aircraft design and hypersonics and things along those lines. But the next generation of this really looks different. It really looks about software. It looks how you adopt commercial manufacturing approaches. It's how you mass manufacture these capabilities. It's a very different focus. We're moving out of an era where we need to make relatively few of very, very expensive high-end things. We're moving into an era where it's much more about how do we have things at scale that are smarter, that are more autonomous. And so this ability to attract the best talent into this really is coming from tech companies. It's coming from universities. It's people who otherwise would have jobs at, kind of all the tech company brand names you would know. Part of that's compensation and liquidity and all the startup economics. But honestly, a lot more of it is just, do they get to work on exciting problems with people they like on things that really matter, right? And I think we present this opportunity to be very clear in our purpose and our mission, something that's going to be impactful, and they get to work on just amazing cutting edge things, right? Like making autonomous fighter jets and these reusable missiles is just an absolutely crazy thing to work on if you're a young engineer. That's what we've really found is the formula to get the best and brightest here, is an exciting opportunity to actually contribute, give back, and build something incredible.